Before I cut the ribbon, I'm happy that the chairman of the advisory board, Mr. Bals, has said within 6 months, and 6 months' time we'll be back for the opening of the satellite casino. I just want to re-emphasize his words. The National Gaming Board will look at the licensing regime, and Papua New Guineans, this is not for every Papua New Guinean to come in. You have disposable income. At certain levels, you come here. Every other Papua New Guinean with no disposable income, and I'm speaking of disposable income, possibly could mean that you have over 200,000 kina earning income or something, you can come here with membership only. Just like Singapore, the citizens are not allowed. We're targeting our international residents in our city, as well as the tourists who will come in, especially for gaming in our country. So, Mela put in talk sawa. Nogat in casino na iblak lusi merimana la kamle nogat. Country get poker machine, na me play increase in business poker machine 2 by Guanta bed. You got 200-300 kina all you play. I don't want Papuans to lose their earnings in this sort of place. We're targeting international visitors here. Chairman Mr. Bals has really said it very well. I cannot speak much better than him. It's just for high-end players, and for those Papuans who go to Cairns and Brisbane, Kina Goran here. Holin Kina na come stop here. No one Goran looks in the league dollar number. Thank you, Maro. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bada area. Thank you, Tomas. Papua New Guinea is straddled in the middle of Asia and Pacific, especially Southeast Asia and Pacific. Global conversations on Indo-Pacific that goes on today is a conversation that PNG must capture to the best for our people and our economy. You cannot go past PNG in the Indo-Pacific conversation. Whether you travel from south to north or you travel from east to west, PNG is in the heart of it. The world going forward in the next 50 to 100 years, in my humble view, is an Asian century that is coming up. The economic combustion in Asia will be fired up and will run on full throttle in the next 10, 15, 20 years going forward. Papua New Guinea stands ready to harness from the growth that is taking place in Asia as we speak. And closer to home in the Southeast Asian economies, I want to commend the work of Minister Tsenko. We are one step away from being admitted into the ASEAN family of nations. ASEAN family of nations. Already, when Indonesia and Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, our traditional partners have given us great support. In that ASEAN family of nations, that's almost 5 to 10% of global GDP, and growth will take place. That is where trade, people, movement is taking place. And we want to secure our country, and especially our children, from today going forward to participate in growth that is taking place in our global neighborhood. And I pay respect to Captain of our National Kumul team, Mr. Rhys Martin, sitting here with us. Rhys, can you stand up, please? He belongs to the generation of modern Papua New Guinean children. We want to develop PNG so that they call PNG their home, they're proud, and they live in modern PNG. What's wrong with giving modern life to them ASAP and not deferring that modern life 10, 15, 20 years or to the next generation? My generation of leadership today are in haste to modernize PNG at the very earliest, without trading off our indigenous identity, without giving away our culture, our people, our environment, but at the same time put on a fast-paced growth for modern PNG. And in modern PNG, you need facilities, you need entertainment, you need the country to have all manners of amenity for citizens and visitors to enjoy living in our country. And there can be no better place to start the growth of the next wave of our country's progress than in Port Moresby City alone. Port Moresby City is traditionally, in partnership with the Motu Koita people, has been the traditional hub of government residents and commercial residents. That has been the traditional hub the last 100 years or so. When we were first visited by government and missionaries and traders, Port Moresby became the place of settlement. And working in partnership with the wonderful people of Motu Quetta, Moso Hanobada villages, and people in this part of our country, they start the birth of what PNG is today. But it is my generation's time now to make sure we move to the next phase. In case some of you have missed my speech at the United Nations, I did indicate to the world that from this time on in the next 20 years, we want to migrate from not just a raw resource-based economy, but to a manufacturing-based economy. First and foremost, to migrate from our export of raw resources to having them finished in our own country and to make that migration. When I took over the economy in 2019, we were a 79 billion kina economy. If all things go on schedule, by the end of this year, we will be a 122 billion kina economy. By next year, we'll be a 130 billion kina economy. By 2026 and 2027, we'll be a 150 billion kina economy. So for those who choose to invest in this sort of investment in PNG, I want to give you fullest assurance you are coming into a growth economy and not a stagnant economy. You invest the same amount of dollar in Australia, your return of investment is 30 plus years. You invest the same amount of dollar in China, your return of investment is about 20 years. You invest the same amount of dollar in PNG right now, the return on investment is within 12 years. That is the market we are trying to propel for our country going forward. Our government has serious responsibility to fix the law and justice sector, especially law and order. We have elevated law and order to the #1 ranked priority for the next few years going forward. We're working in education sector to make sure relevant, competent education skills, not just knowledge, but skills, is dispensed so that you can have appropriate worker at your disposal in our own local economy. Work with the Australian labour mobility now today. We hope to engage them in appropriate skilling so they are competent to work here and work international. We're also working with our health sector, both public health and private health, to make sure that the health sector is robust to capture a growing number of visits as well as our local population needs. We're working with a court system to restructure court. Restructure is going on as I speak. We're putting in between National Court and Supreme Court an appeals court, elevating Supreme Court to a Section 18, Section 19 reference court, giving appeals court in between National Court. All this are work going on to modernize PNG. But it will be in vain if we don't have modern facilities to anchor local population as well as visitors' need. China exports over 100 million tourists a year. Southeast Asia exports close to 50 million tourists a year. Australia exports over 1 million, 2 million tourists a year visiting the world, so to speak. We want to capture them into Port Moresby, blending traditional culture but with modern life. And this is what this precinct has to offer. I want to ask those of you in this who are in this business here. First request, as you work here, don't distance yourself from Motu Quetta, on whose land we are here today. I want all employment here, in the first instance, skill, upgrade, and employ Motu Quetta people to work here. They come from a tribe that has good ethics, good value, good character. I want to ask them, this is their garden, this is the fishing land we are sitting and encroaching upon. Every employment here, first instance, give to Motu Quetta people. Secondly, preserve culture, preserve heritage. We've got war bankers here. We have the story to tell here. We want, working with NCD, Governor Paga, when he conveys his apologies, he's out of town right now, out of country rather, and he says that the process to complete full clearance in as far as statutory requirements are concerned must be dispensed with, and he's on standby to assist. Myself on standby to assist. The local member is on standby to assist. We want to make sure from Koki to Konabada becomes our modern PNG at the very earliest for business and commerce settles in our nation's capital. Our second hub in modern Port Moresby or NCD would be Waigani Precinct. That will become the seat of government. So two of these will take off at the very earliest. The downtown here becomes a hub of commerce and business, and Waigani becomes the seat of government. They'll be modernized at the very earliest, and looking forward to these developments here, associated with the amazing city conversations in the nation's capital, and from Koki to Konabada, working with Motu Koita, work with NCD, we can make it come to life, truly reflecting modern Papua New Guinea's aspirations and a bridge between past, today, and future, as well as placing ourselves in a family of nations that is truly modernized with carrying our culture with us. God bless everyone. I look forward to this project achieving full maturity, not just the casino precinct, but the entire full ambit of development that is taking place here. Someone asked me, why heading that place today? Because I'm on my way out to a remote village in Pomio. I'll be spending the weekend in Pomio. And I said, 30 years ago when I came into Port Moresby, or 35 years ago, Vision City was a barren grassland. Vision City was a barren grassland. I have my views on certain investors in our country. I have my views on certain people who associate with certain politicians. But as Prime Minister today, I cannot have my personal views stand in the way of national progress and national development. The Vision City was a barren grassland before, and today is a hub of economic activities, spin-offs being fed to SMEs like taxi drivers, to SMEs like barber shops, to SMEs like retail shops in the heart of Port Moresby. And I am sure, certainly, this place can go 10 steps higher than Vision City, really moving PNG to the place where it can proudly say it has been modernized in a family of nations. I offer nothing but commiserations and congratulations. I look forward to every step of the way, and if there are any statutory requirements that needs to be fulfilled, I request when I activate all instruments of government, don't wait 1 year to say yes to what needs to be said. This is the biggest issue holding back our country. Don't wait and ask, what is it for me to hold back important step? If Vision City could incubate over 1,000 employment right now and spinning of businesses, this place can incubate continued employment and incubate spin-off businesses for us, including looking after motor creators. I just want all of us, every instrument of government, from special economic zone, from customs, from IPA, from NCD, from lands, fiscal planning, let us get behind this. And I want to ask today as I speak, the special economic zone, by the way, Minister Maru is supposed to be here over me to preside, but flight got cancelled and he's stuck in Wewak. So I'm tasking him to be in charge to coordinate all of us through the Special Economic Zone Authority. They coordinate for us so that we could progress and put something on the on the radar and think of all the milestones required instead of us running around in circle. God bless everyone. May PNG prosper in this development.
Today is about tourism and broadening the appeal of Papua New Guinea. The potential growth of tourism is this country's most untapped asset. Paga Hill will be a tourism city. Our first residential building on the edge of Paga Hill is now at 21 stories, and there are another 2 that are starting soon next to it. Roadworks are now, the cutting is pretty much done, and we'll be now moving to put in all of the roadworks. The SEZ Authority will soon be moving into their new headquarters on site that will expedite a lot of the approvals and mean that we can move forward as fast as we possibly can. The plans for the 250-room Radisson Hotel on top of the hill are finalised, and construction hopefully will start early next year or by halfway through the year, depending on the speed of the final approvals. The first of the 500 residences that will be around the mountain will be part of that approval process. They all have panoramic views of the ocean. You don't realise until you're up there that it's a 360 view all the way round. Absolutely fantastic. This is my 5th casino groundbreaking. So I'm an old hand in the casino area. I was on the feasibility and planning team for the first modern casino in Macau, The world's most profitable casino in Singapore. I was part of that planning and development group. And I was also at the groundbreaking of the temporary Star Casino in Sydney, before they built 2 years later their permanent casino. It is common practice in the casino business to operate and open a satellite casino before the permanent casino opens. It's a chance to train local staff, to understand the market better, and to fine-tune operations. This is the first duly authorised and legally granted casino licence in PNG, and it covers a 50-kilometre radius of Port Moresby. It will set the standard and be the guiding light as far as governance and propriety goes in the casino business in this country. The Singapore casino is our guiding light. We are modelling the operation of the PNG casino on Singapore. We are committed to the highest standard of operations. Paga Hill Development Company, led by, I'm proud to say, local PNG citizen Gummy Fredrickson, remains the landowner and the developer of Paga Hill Estate, but they will not be the casino operator. It's a very specialised skill, and that management skill is coming into PNG from overseas, and we'll be making an announcement on that in the next week or so. The facility that's been built here in this corner will house mid and high roller gaming tables with invitation-only rooms. It will have 100 state-of-the-art gaming machines. That's the very latest technology available. There will be 2 restaurants and bar operations. The casino is aimed at the visitor and expat community markets and the tourism markets. It is not being targeted at local population. It is the Singapore model. It has adopted the operating procedures from Singapore. You'll need a passport to enter, or you'll have to become a member with a restrictive entry membership fee. And that's how it will operate. If you've been to the casinos in Singapore, that's how they operate. That's what their government wanted, and I'm sure that's what this government wants as well. As the law states, in PNG, 30% of the profits of this gaming enterprise will go back to the government via the NGCB, and that will include a 5% community benefit levy. That money will be significant and go to very worthwhile activities in the community. It is well known the great majority of the revenue in the Cairns casino comes from PNG. And I can see a few of you smiling as I say that. The casino at Paga Hill will keep a lot of that money in PNG and will be taxed here for the benefit of the community. Paga Hill Estate is the future of Port Moresby, an amazing Port Moresby, as our Governor often says. More than a city, it will be a place to live, to work and to play in a secure environment. It's soon to be announced that we'll be opening a cultural centre here. The war museums will be reinstalled in parts of the bunkers that around the hill, and that will be a significant museum. And of course the casino. They will all add to the attraction. Every year, 350 cruise ships go past PNG. Very few stop. We're giving them now real reasons to stop. And if we can get a third or a half of those ships to stop, and that's what's been promised by the operators, it will change the face of tourism in Port Moresby. These sort of attractions will do that. The employment that tourism generates is real employment. It's employment for locals, and that's what we're all about here. The satellite casino will be ready to open in about 6 months' time, and I look forward to seeing all of you back here for what will be an unbelievable opening party. So thank you, Prime Minister, thank you, Minister, and I welcome you all to come back in 6 months for that party. Thank you.